What is up here today, YouTube? Jigsaw0097 bringing you another video. This is going to be my Redskins Eagles preview video. I don't really have much to say about this game from a team standpoint because, I'm glad they won. The more I think about it, the more I like it. I'm glad they won against the Giants because, Howie Roseman can't draft. So I was thinking about it. It's like, even if we fail the season and we get draft picks, it's like, what they're going to do? So I think getting Carson Wentz into the playoffs and giving him some playoff experience is a much better goal than just getting a high draft pick. So I'm glad they won, but every week is kind of do or die. I feel like the playoffs have already started for the Eagles. And I know that sounds crazy, but it started last week. They showed that they were able to come back and win that. Carson Wentz erased a 17-3 deficit, which is one of his best performances. I got to say, it is one of the best games he's ever had. It started out as one of the worst. It kept getting worse every week, but then he brought it back in the fourth quarter with pretty much no-name guys. And that's what's really impressive, is that he was able to do it with basically practice squad high school players. But that being said, it is the Giants, and they are lucky that they're playing the Redskins this week, because if I could think of a team that might be worse than the Giants, it'd probably be the Redskins. Maybe like the Redskins and the Bengals. Those are the only two teams I could think of. By the way, shout out to the Patriots for spying on the Bengals. Good job, dumbasses. But I think playing the Redskins is again, it's another good test, because the Eagles basically have the soft gloves on right now. That's what they're going through. They're able to play like garbage, get the kinks out, and they still have chances to win these games. Which is what they did against the Giants. They played like complete trash for 3 quarters, and they were able to come back from it because they were able to work the kinks out. I don't know. Other teams would not have allowed that to happen. I can guarantee you that. Any team that's not in the bottom 5. So playing the Redskins really going to be good to see what Wentz wants again, or Wentz has in him to make a playoff push. This is one's at Washington, but again, that's not really a huge deal. The Washington Stadium is basically right next to Philadelphia, so it's almost like a home game in many ways. There's probably going to be more Eagles fans there than Redskins fans too. Like, I can almost guarantee that. It's going to probably be like last year when Nick Foles beat the Redskins to get in the playoffs. It's going to be like hardly any Redskins fans. I can't see it. That fan base has pretty much given up on the team for the most part. I see it in the comments. I see it on Twitter. I see, the Redskins have been bad for so long, and so I see the Eagles fans showing up there as well, and I see this as a potentially easy win. But again, it all depends on this team. This team has no secondary. They have a really good pass rush, and then they have really no offense. They just promoted Robert Davis from the practice squad. I was thinking they should have given Mark and Michelle a chance, but whatever. When it comes to moves in the Philadelphia Eagles in 2019, it's nothing to brag about, guys. Like, the Eagles have made no moves. They went out and got Jay Ajayi. Boo, woo-wee. They don't even use him. They went out and got Jordan Matthews for 2 games, and then the Niners just went and picked him up again. So, shout out to Matthews. I hope he ends up getting a ring with the Niners this year if the Eagles don't pan out, because, that dude has been, in my opinion, the Eagles have disrespected that man. They really have. They have toyed with that guy's emotions ever since Carson Wentz came in the league. Carson Wentz and him are like really good friends, but then it's like the guy can't stay on the team. So, and really it's the Eagles' fault. It's not Jordan Matthews' fault. Howie Roseman is looking inept when it comes to that, because they just keep going back to the familiar when it didn't work before. So they think it's going to work again. It's the literal definition of insanity. So, where was I? So yeah, they've been promoting practice squad guys. This offense to me is still nothing, but Boston Scott rising up, Josh Perkins, looking pretty good. Greg Ward, you know, he had that huge drop against the Giants, but still. And then I think Nelly is still going to be out. Alshon Jeffrey was placed on IR today. We already know he's done. You know, I've already made a video about that, but I don't know, guys. I don't know. Like, I'm sorry that I sound so, like, unenthused. I've kind of had my mind on other things than the Eagles because, you know, I kind of checked out of this team a couple weeks ago because they just were playing so bad. And, you know, I just, realistically, I don't see a playoff push here. I just don't see how this team, with 0 moves and 0 talent, can go into the playoffs and make a run. I mean, anything can happen any given Sunday in this league, but I don't see how the 49ers, the Saints, the Vikings, the Seahawks, the Packers, especially after we beat the Packers early in the season, I don't see how any of these teams are going to be able to lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. I just don't see it. And so they got to beat the Redskins, and then they got to beat Dallas. And then really, if they beat Dallas, especially if the Eagles beat the Redskins and Dallas loses to the Rams, which is highly probable for both of those scenarios, I think the Eagles are ahead of the division just from that. And then if they beat Dallas, you know, they're in. The Giants game at the end of the season doesn't even matter at that point. So really, it's just 2 games they got to win. And if they can do that, they're in, which is crazy, but that is where we're at. And, you know, once they're in, you know, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna be excited. I'm not gonna get my blood pressure up over this team though this year because, you know, I don't see it. Last year I really did feel like they could have done it. Like if Jeffrey doesn't drop that pass against the Saints, you know, they could have probably ran right back to the Super Bowl again. But this year, I don't know. It's too depleted. The real big killer this year is injuries, and our defense is just so suspect. Like, they'll play lights out one week, but then they just get torched by the Dolphins. So, like, I can't predict them. Guys, I can't predict this defense. I don't know what they're going to do week in and week out. It's maddening. So, yep, that's kind of all I really got to say. You know, I'm looking at Carson Wentz. I'm looking at him every week now. I'm really looking at him because he's the future of this team. This team's in for a huge shakeup after this season anyway. So I'm looking at him and I'm looking at Doug, but I think Mike Groh's gone. Like, all this play calling will be different, hopefully. Hopefully Doug Peterson will realize that he's not an offensive coordinator and he'll stop Jerry Jonesing the team and just, you know, surrender that role. Just be a head coach, Doug. You don't need to do it all. But I'm really, like I said, just really looking at Carson, see what we got there. You know, I'm glad that in that regard, I am glad that he beat the Giants because I was really starting to lose hope in the guy. I was really starting to think that he just might be bad, but, you know, they let him just go out. They let him go what he normally does, you know, ball out, and he was able to kind of take control and win that Giants game. So I got to give him credit there. So yeah, that's kind of my takeaways for this video. Sorry, a lot of rambling, kind of a long video. Didn't really intend it to be this long, but let me know what you guys think down below about this team going forward, what you think about the Eagles if they get into the playoffs. But whatever you guys think, I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, as I do cover the Eagles and the NFL all season long. And to all my returning subscribers and viewers, make sure you guys are subscribed and you hit that notification bell. I really appreciate that support, and you guys are the best. But as always, thank you so much for watching. This has been Jigsaw0097. I will talk to you all later.